Hey, what's up guys? So this is the GROM VLINE2. This is the second one I've had. Well, technically I have one in my old car, old form factor, old interface, but this is supposed to have wireless CarPlay, CarPlay in general, and Android Auto. So let's go ahead and open it up. This will be the official unboxing. Kind of a cool little outer shell. It's actually more than I expected. Oops, got some tape here. Got to get through this. Okay, there we go. So let's open up this bad boy and see what we got. GROM VLINE2. Just like I said, this is the NIS8 edition. So this is for my 2009 Infiniti FX50S. Comes with a nice user guide. And let's take the unit out. Let's take a look at it. Set this to the side for now. A is for Apple. A is for, I don't know. I got stuck on Apple. So this looks like a little, kind of like a little wireless antenna. Almost looks like something you would have in your computer. It's kind of loosely rotates. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to go, but I trust this system. On the back, we have HDMI in, we have USB 1, USB 2, HDMI out, camera, AV, and microphone. So this is, and on the back, we have a couple things here too. So this is supposed to hook in with my factory radio. I get to use all my buttons still, and of course the upgraded navigation and functionality user interface, because the one that's in my car, the navigation on it is stuck in like 2008, 2009. And it does not have audio Bluetooth, which really sucked. So the whole road trip, I literally had my phone sitting in the cup holder and kind of letting the sound bounce. It's an old school life hack, by the way. Let's see what else is in here. Take out this little cover. Inside the box, we have wires, and more wires, connectors and more connectors, which is what we want. Look at this. It all looks complicated. I can promise you it is not, because of the user guide. Everything should be pretty much plug and play with the factory radio. This is a GPS unit, which is perfect. What do we have in here? Here is the microphone, which is more perfect. Couple brackets. This is the USB cable. I'm familiar with a lot of this because it looks like a newer version of the old one that I have. So this would go into here, and then I would hook up my iPhone or any other USB device. If I had an Android, which I don't, I would hook it up to this on the other end as well. And we have a Posi-Tap connector. I don't know if you guys know what Posi-Tap is, but so what you do is you run a wire through here, and this little needle at the end is designed to puncture the wire that you run through here. So as you screw it down, it slowly punctures it, kind of like a slow death, getting a knife slowly thrust into your body. I know, that's kind of weird. And of course this wire, it makes a connection on the other end. So we're gonna have one of those connectors. And that's it for the inside of this thing. I'm ready to get this thing installed. Okay, as with anything, the first thing we're gonna do is remove the battery. That's safety 101. Okay, finally, battery disconnected. Let's go inside and take this bitch apart. If everything online is like I said it is, they should be able to pull this up and this entire thing up. Take this down, take this clip out. Should have brought a screwdriver in here. See how well this clip comes out. Okay, there we go. And I'll probably lose it. Put it in the passenger seat. So I should be able to take this off. Look at that. Thinking about replacing this thing. Anyway, so here we go. Now this is for like fender rivet plastic things, but I don't really have the normal pry tool, so I just have to be really careful here. And it should come right up. Look at that. I think it comes right up. Cool. This should come right up as well. it does. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. All right, and it's got a ribbon on the bottom. So let's see, we'll disconnect this right here. Going ahead and, oh, it looks like it's zip tied. Would it be easier? Do I want to disconnect it here or here? Oh, the zip tie will slide off. There we go. Okay, cool. Oh, we got another one. And another one. Okay, there we go. So that is off. And I believe this, I don't think there's any screws in here actually. I think this should come right out somehow. This looks like this has already been out. This thing's a little jankier than I was led to believe. Here we go. Let's see if this is connected somewhere in the back. In theory, it should be connected actually. There we go. Go ahead and undo this clip. This car still smells like the cheap cologne that the guy used. He was an attorney. Not that the attorney has anything to do with having cheap cologne, but just saying in general. Oh, Jesus, God. I need to compress this somehow. Ah! The dead bug right there. Hope he's dead. You dead? You dead? You dead? It's gross. And then these come out, these two screws right here should come out, and this entire unit should pull off. And then I should be able to get to the radio. I'm always losing screws. Always. I have a whole bucket full of screws for my NSX. Try to be more careful this time. You're to that point where you're taking a screw out and then it just kind of seesaws. Not seesaws, but yeah, I guess seesaws on something, and that's at the point where either you end up grabbing it or you end up dropping it. Let's put this in the glove box. Should come right out. Look at that. Probably a couple wires behind it. There's a connector, a couple connectors. There's a ribbon connector. You guys see this at the top. I'm wearing the GoPro, so we got some ribbon connectors here. We got this. Well, this is actually a ribbon connector. And then we have 1, 2. So we have 3. It's like 4 points of connection here that we have to make sure that we're careful about. I guess in theory, I might not even need to touch this. I should just take out these screws and then take this unit off and see what happens. So for now, that's what I'm going to do. Let's see what happens here. I believe this is easier than my FX35 Sport that's right next to me that I'll be listing for sale soon after this video. Fortunately, my wife will not let me keep both. Okay, so we got those out. No other things in sight. I wonder if it just comes out maybe. It does. Wow. 2 screws, and this is connected by the ribbon connector at the top, so this is probably a lot easier to deal with. You have to be careful with ribbon connectors though, because you can screw them up. You need to depress that. There we go. Look at that. Gotta be careful. Okay, that unit out of the way. Yeah, get the screen and the radio down here. So guess we gotta take out more stuff. So even if I wanted to take this unit out, I can't take it out without removing the screen, because the screen bracket, yeah, there we go. I can't take this out without removing the screen, because as you see, the screen bracket goes here and here. So we gotta take those out, take the screen out. And then I'll check in the bottom to see if there's more screws. There are. See if you can see that. Sorry guys, there's a screw right here, and there's one on the other side. Yeah, let's flip this around. Good thing about these, thing to remember is the silver came from the actual stereo and the black came from the trim. That's how I'm gonna try to remember. There's probably a ribbon behind here too. It would make sense that there is. So we're gonna be careful removing this. There's a screw right there. Let's see if I can do this without breaking anything. Okay, nice. So you guys can't see, I'm trying to get in behind this just to kind of see where it's quite restricted, but I guess the important thing is we got it out of the way from the bottom. So let's just let that kind of chill right there. And let's hit the ones at the bottom. It's only, so far I've only removed 6 screws. See if you guys can see that down there. Praying that I don't drop any of them. And one more to go. There. Let's see if you guys can see that right here. I'm hoping this is it. I'm hoping I could pull out the entire bottom unit. Most vehicles are not that complicated. Come on. There we go. All right. So, in theory, you know what? I'm just gonna disconnect these. Get this entire unit out of my way. Okay, there's one. There's 2 and 3. There we go. Much easier getting this thing out of the way. There. Put it up on the dashboard. There we go. So in theory, this should come out now, and it does. This is what I want to get access to the back of. And it's being held on with some stuff in the back, of course. I hope I can remember how to do this. Let's go ahead and put this screen back up here. It goes into like this little slot. You'll see it. It goes in like that and just kind of swings down. So I'll get that out of the way. And then this, it's packed in really good. Let's disconnect. There's some connectors at the top. Let me take this thing off so we can take a better look. Okay, before we actually do this, I want to make sure I've crossed my I's, dotted my T's. So this thing comes color coded. And this is what's going to go through the glove box and connect to your V-Line. So I'm going to make sure, so if this were in the glove box, it would, I don't know, be like this or that. Anyway, so you don't want to connect it before you put it in, obviously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through where I pulled the radio from and go underneath and kind of pop it through the glove box area. You don't have to drill any holes or anything. And then make sure it connects with this. So you lose part of your glove box if you do this where they want you to do it. But, I mean, glove box, CarPlay for sure. I can't really, I can see an opening down here, but I can't really get to it. I can see the light. So fortunately, these glove boxes just pop like right out, which is kind of weird. So this wire goes on this part of the glove box. So you just snap it back on there when you're done. But that's the only thing that's really holding the glove box in. So now that the glove box is out of the way, I can actually see a little bit, and then maybe I can find a way to run the GROM cable through. Okay, I thought I was going to come through down here, but it's actually, there's a place up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the GROM cable up through here, popping out here, and then shove it through this void. And I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Actually, I hate it when people say that and then you don't know what they did. So you see this? I ran the cable through up to this void right here. Sorry for the sun. And then I'm gonna shove it back in here and then pull it out down here. And there it is. So you should be able to put the glove box back on without worrying about damaging any of this stuff. If you wanted to secure the box in here, you could drill, I suppose, from the bottom if you really wanted to, or the top. I'm just gonna have mine laying in there. It's not that serious. And then this part, of course, all hooks up to your factory radio. Put the GPS antenna up here, and I'm running it. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can tuck it, or I may have to pull this out to kind of make it a little neater. But then I took a plastic tool and just kind of shoved the wire all the way down. But I have all this stuff left, and usually in the old days I would just use the zip ties, not the zip tie, but the twisties that it came with. But I'm gonna use this cloth tape. This will really clean it up, and it'll make it less of a mess when I'm reaching for shit later, I guess. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, amidst all that nonsense that I said a second ago, there's actually this little piece, trim piece. You can just take this and tuck it under here. It'll be mostly a little bit out of the way if you can get your shit together, which I'm trying so hard to be the shepherd. There we go. So, and then what I did is I ran it through and then pulled it up here and then fished it through. So now it's the same length as the rest of the unit. Okay, I went ahead and put the microphone up here, and I'm gonna run it up and tuck it. That's what I gotta do, and then run it down and then install it. Now reconnecting or connecting these wires to the factory unit, everything is pretty much self-explanatory in a sense, where you can only plug one plug in for this, which is this one. This one is too small, so you have to use your brain a little bit here. Just go ahead and go back through here and marry up the connections. Everything that looks like this gets a factory wire, and everything that looks like this gets plugged into the back of the factory system. There's actually a few SWC wire, pin 6. It would have been nice if they told me what color the pin 6 was. I thought the pin 6 was green, but the wire that I'm intersecting it with is green. But still, and I guess I understand, it depends on your vehicle. Sometimes they change the color of the wires. My NSX is like that. The wires in an NA2 NSX 97 are a different color sometimes than a 91. But we'll figure it out. So this is what I did. So you see here how the ones in the top are long and the ones in the bottom are small. I had to find that. And my mistake is I was looking at these, which are the two that you disconnected earlier, but actually it's this one. It's the same way. See how the pins are? Some of them are longer and some of them are tiny, and it lines up. So according to this drawing, number 6 is the 4th one over, long bar from the right. Which, if you look at the back of the connector, so you have to kind of look at this backwards. According to this connector, it would be the pink pin, the bottom pink one, which is technically the 4th one over because the second slot is not used. Sorry, zoom, this is a GoPro, so Lord knows. Let's look at it this way. Okay, if we're looking at it this way, wait, what? There we go. So if you look at it this way, the first one is kind of a salmon pink, then nothing, then blue, then light pink. So if I do it correctly, this pink right here, where my thumbnail is touching, is the one I'm going to intersect. So this is slid underneath the wire, and then I'm going to tighten this down, and that tip is going to puncture the wire. There. And then I'm going to run this green wire, this loose green wire, right here, through this and tighten this down on top, and then that tip is going to puncture the green wire. And there you go. Now it's just a matter of putting all this back together, connecting the parts that I took out, running the USB from there underneath, and having it pop out over here, although I may have to drill a hole, or maybe I'll just have it come underneath this side so I don't have to drill a hole. Have everything connected, got my USB connected, camera, microphone, and antenna for the GPS. I just have to go through and finish doing the wires, putting the center back together. Also want to show you guys how I routed the USB for iPhone interface. Is I ended up pulling the old iPod out, the iPod bracket. This is where that would go. So I'm gonna see if I can find a way to secure this or make some sort of bracket. I'm usually pretty decent at doing something like that, but I have to believe something like that exists. If nothing else, something that I could plug the back of this into and put in here, even if I have to fabricate my own mounting plate. Something I could definitely do. Finally, this thing is going. It took me a while to get it going. It's not as simple as plug and play. It should be, but by default I think it's really more of an Android thing. So I had to pull in the CarPlay app. I had to sit here and mess around with it for a while. It's not lit up right now because I don't have it connected to wireless CarPlay, but once you do connect it to wired, this will show up green just for Apple, and it automatically pops up. It's a lot better obviously than the native. It's not as good as some of the more modern CarPlay, but because you're also dealing with an older antiquated system, so for what it is, it's really good.
It is so hot. Be careful with that.
It didn't go in as quickly or as swiftly as I wanted it to, but GROM was great. We sent a few units back and forth. Some of the wires and that stuff, it was probably user error, install error on my end, but they were so willing to work with me on this. And realistically, it's been a while since I originally started the video, but everything is good to go and couldn't be happier right now.